What's up everybody, this is 13 with Superior Mobile by 13. Today I've got a real interesting build. This is a real simple one, but slightly complicated simultaneously. It's for a 2004 to 2006 Rolls-Royce Phantom. These are the upper lighting assemblies on the Phantom, so not the headlights, but we have a marker light as well as the turn signals that are in these housings. Now this build is really interesting because it's not many Phantom owners that you get that try and DIY a project, and so this was technically a DIY rehabilitation. So I'll do a little picture overlay so that you can see what the housings looked like when I got them. Basically what the customer did was installed one of these Amazon flexible tube as a DRL inside the housing. So of course it looked really cheap, and they aren't even very bright. So this is when it's lit up right now. I can do also a picture overlay of when it is lit up. Now, due to the shape of the housing and of course the caliber of the vehicle, I didn't want to do anything basic. So this is the first time that I ever got the honor of being able to do a custom PCB halo design. So once I took apart the housings and stripped away all of the client's silicone sealant that he used, we traced the shape of the housing, and then with the assistance of a laser plotter basically made a template. This is just some 16th inch thick plastic material, and that was how we mocked it up to make sure that we got a shape that was just right. And with that AutoCAD file, then we sent it off to the custom halo manufacturers overseas, and they created these halos specifically to spec. Now the client's request was very clear in the fact that he wanted a 2-wire hookup. So through these drivers we literally just have a positive and a negative, so that limits us to a single color. So this is a white only halo. It would have been really cool to do a switchback, but that would have been 3-wire, and apparently the client was not up to that installation challenge. Or what would have been really frisky would have been an addressable RGBW LED array, which is definitely always my preference, but again that requires a Bluetooth controller and some other fancy wiring that basically he would not have been able to do. So I'm going to turn these bad boys on now, and you're going to see how insanely bright that they are. This is a pure white output, and it is just absolutely blindingly, stunningly bright and beautiful and uniform, which was another request of the client, was that we didn't want to see LEDs. But if you know anything about me, I don't want to see LED chips either. I am not a brace face fan. I like nice, uniform, crisp shapes, and this custom PCB layout absolutely delivered. For funsies comparison, I've got these halos and this strip side by side, and I will admit in the video you can't really tell that there's that much of a difference in brightness, but I assure you in person this one hurts to look at, and this one leaves a lot to be desired. It's really a completely unfair comparison though, because these are direct forward facing LEDs and these are the side firing LEDs, so these are just so much weaker of a chipset, and they also don't require a driver, whereas you can see, we have LED drivers for these products. Now I'm sure you've also noticed that I painted the interior of these housings, and this is a custom color mix. It's a Maserati graphite. It's not quite a gloss black, it's more of a graphite color, and I think that's going to complement the vehicle color, which is kind of like an off-white, because the idea is that we wanted these housings darker, which again is going to complement the vehicle, add a little more aggressive of a visual appeal, and make it so that the halos pop even more. Now these are glass housings, so unfortunately there wasn't a lot that I could do to address all of the minor rock chips and essentially sandblasting that's happened over the years on these housings, but I tried to clean them up as best as I could. On a side note, the way that these are sealed is actually super interesting, because these aren't exactly like a butyl sealant. Even from the factory, it's basically just kind of like a silicone-y type rubber sealant that goes around there. So basically I used the same product and resealed it when I was all done, so these will remain waterproof just like factory. Now custom PCB halos are a little pricey. This set basically ran $1,000 for that service for just those 2 halos, so that certainly isn't a solution for all housings or applications, but when we're talking about a Rolls-Royce Phantom, the price point is definitely justified. Other than the halos itself, it was a basic simple open reseal and a paint job, and pricing and product information is going to be in the video description for reference. All of the housings that I build are custom made to order, so this was right up my alley. If you are interested in a build for yourself, then by all means reach out to me via the form on my website. The link to that will also be in the video description. That is the only way that I take on new customers, so be sure to use the form on the website. This was a really fun and unique project, and I'm very grateful to Ishmael for letting me do it. So thank you to him, and thank you to you for watching. This is 13 with Superior Mobile by 13. I hope you have yourselves a wonderful day. Thank you again. I will talk to you later. See you.